The lecture hall on Orbit 7 station was huge. Rows of seats rose high like stairs in a giant bowl. Lights above glowed soft blue. The air smelled clean, like fresh metal and faint flowers from the station gardens. Students from many worlds filled most of the seats. Tall, thin beings with feathers, short, furry ones with big eyes. Others looked like walking plants or shiny insects. They all sat quiet, waiting. At the front stood Professor Kaelvorn. He was from Virel 4, a soft green world full of warm rain and gentle winds. His body stood tall on 6 thin legs. His shell was bright green with gold marks. 4 arms moved fast as he pointed at the big hologram floating in the air. The hologram showed a dark, stormy planet. Red words flashed across it. Tier Omega Doom World. Survival odds 0.001%. Welcome to Advanced Xenobiology, Death World Classification, Professor Kaelvorn said. His voice clicked like dry leaves. Today we study the worst places in the galaxy. Places where life should not exist. Places that kill almost everything. The students lead forward. A small blue-feathered student named Jiho Park took quick notes on his tablet. Next to him sat Ha-eun Kim. She was human, the only human in the class. She wore a simple gray uniform, like everyone else. Her black hair was tied back neat. She sat straight but calm. She did not write fast like the others. She just listened. Professor Kaelvorn waved one arm. The hologram changed. A long list appeared in bright red letters. Trait 1, he said. Constant seismic activity. The ground shakes every few hours. Mountains rise and fall in days. No building lasts long without special anchors. A soft gasp went through the room. A plant-like student shivered, leaves curling tight. Trait 2, the professor continued. Predatory flora in packs. Plants that move, plants that hunt. They sense heat, sound, even thoughts in some cases. They trap, poison, and eat anything that touches them. Jiho whispered to Ha-eun, "That sounds impossible." Ha-eun gave a small smile. She said nothing. Trait 3, Professor Kaelvorn said louder. Atmospheric storms with neurotoxins. Winds over 200 kilometers per hour. Lighting that carries nerve-destroying gas. One breath and your brain shuts down in minutes. More students made small scared sounds. One furry student covered his ears as if the words hurt. The professor kept going. Trait 4. Gravity changes. The planet's core is restless. Gravity jumps 10 to 20% without warning. Bones break. Organs shift. Most species cannot adapt fast enough. Ha-eun watched the hologram. Her face stayed calm. She had seen worse lists before, in her own head. Trait 5, Professor Kaelvorn said. Water that eats metal. Rivers and rain carry acids strong enough to dissolve steel in hours. Oceans are full of salts that burn skin on contact. A tall insect student raised a claw. Professor, how can anything live there? Kaelvorn clicked his mandibles. Exactly. Nothing should. But wait, there is more. He added new lines to the list. Rapid evolutionary pressure. Microbes that change every day. They learn your immune system and break it in hours. What kills you today may not kill your child tomorrow. Or it may kill faster. Students started to look sick. A few used breathing masks from their bags. Seasonal kill zones, the professor went on. Whole regions flood with radiation once a year. The sky lights up with deadly auroras. Nothing survives outside shielded areas. Jiho turned to Ha-eun again. This must be made up. No one could evolve there. Ha-eun looked at him. Some did. Jiho blinked. What? She looked back at the hologram. She did not answer. Professor Kaelvorn raised 2 arms high. And the final trait. Apex predators that sense bioelectric fields. They hunt in total darkness. They never sleep. They grow bigger than transport shuttles. Teeth like knives. Skin like armor. They track anything alive from kilometers away. The room was quiet now. No one moved much. The only sound was the soft hum of the hologram, and the professor's clicking legs as he walked back and forth. "This," Kael'Vorn said, "is a Tier Omega Doom world. The galaxy has found only 3 confirmed. All are dead. No sapient life ever came from them. Explorers who landed never came back the same. Some never came back at all." He turned to the class. His big compound eyes shone under the lights. "Any questions before I show the simulations?" Hands went up slow. A small voice asked, "Why do we study them if no one lives there?" "To understand limits," the professor said. "To know what the universe says is impossible. To remind ourselves how lucky we are. Our worlds are gentle, warm, safe. We must never forget that." More nods. Some students looked proud of their home planets. Ha-Un sat still. Her hands rested on her lap. She looked at the list again. Every trait, every word. She knew them all. Not from books, from memory. Professor Kael'Vorn started the next slide. A fake video began. It showed a green explorer stepping onto black sand. Wind screamed. Plants snapped forward like traps. The explorer screamed once. Then the screen went red. Simulation end. Death in 47 seconds. The class made soft sounds of shock. Jiho whispered, "I think I'm going to be sick." Ha-Un patted his arm once. Gentle. "It's okay. Breathe slow." The professor stopped the video. "This is why we call them doom worlds, death worlds, places that should stay empty." He looked around. "Any final thoughts before we move to the next case study?" The room was still. No one wanted to speak. The weight of the list felt heavy on everyone. Except one. Ha-Un raised her hand. It was slow, calm, not high like she was excited, just up, straight. Professor Kael'Vorn saw it. His eyes narrowed a little. "Yes, student." Ha-Un stood. She was not tall, not short, just normal. Her voice came clear and simple. "Stop." The word hung in the air. The professor tilted his head. "Excuse me?" Ha-Un looked straight at him, then at the hologram, then back at him. "You're describing my childhood." The room froze. No one breathed loud. Jiho's beak opened, but no sound came out. Professor Kael'Vorn stared. His mandibles clicked once, twice. Ha-Un did not sit down. She waited. The professor finally spoke. "You, what?" Ha-Un pointed at the list, one by one. "Earthquakes? We had those every month in some places. Poison plants? We walked through them and learned which ones burned. Toxic storms? We stayed inside and called them monsoons. Acid water? We cleaned it and drank it anyway. Microbes? We fought them with needles and made ourselves stronger. Predators? We hunted them back." She shrugged, just a small lift of her shoulders. "It's not a doom world. It's home." Silence. Then whispers started, soft, fast, growing. Professor Kael'Vorn stepped closer. "You are saying your species evolved on a Tier Omega world?" Ha-Un nodded once. "Yes." The hologram still glowed behind her. The red words looked smaller now. Jiho finally found his voice. "Ha-Un, is this real?" She turned to him, smiled a little. "Very real." The professor looked at the list again, then at Ha-Un, then at the class. Class was not over yet, but something big had just started. The golden light from Jian's sword grew brighter. It was not a normal glow. It moved like living fire along the steel edge. Slow at first, then faster. The old scratches she had always ignored now burned clear and sharp. Each rune stood out. Straight lines, sharp angles, circles cut in half. They pulsed together, one after another, like a slow heartbeat. Jian stared at the blade in her hand. Her fingers felt strange around the hilt. Not numb, not painful, just different. The sword felt heavier, but also lighter at the same time. Warmth spread from the metal into her palm, up her arm, into her chest. She wanted to drop the weapon, but her hand would not let go. Minsok stood only a few steps away. His left palm still bled. Dark drops fell onto the red dust and soaked in quickly. He did not look at his wound. His black eyes were fixed on the glowing runes. His face, always calm in every duel before, now showed something new, shock mixed with fear. The crowd of Valor did not move at first. Then the change came fast. Seojin, Minsok's younger sister, stood closest to the elder. She had laughed softly when the duel started. Now her knees bent. She dropped hard onto the dust. Her sword clattered beside her. She pressed both hands to the ground, as if trying to hold herself up. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Next to her, a tall guard named Taemin fell. His heavy armor made a dull thud. He bowed his head low. His shoulders shook. One by one, like dominoes pushed by an unseen hand, the Valor warriors knelt. Some dropped slowly, with respect. Others fell quickly, as if their legs refused to hold them anymore. Even the ones at the far edge of the circle sank down. The only ones still standing were Jian and Minsok. Hyunwoo, the white-haired elder, was the last to kneel. He lowered himself carefully, like a man setting down something heavy and holy. His old hands trembled as he placed them flat on the ground. When he spoke, his voice cracked. "The runes, they are awake." The words spread through the kneeling crowd like wind over dry grass. Whispers followed. "The old architects, the mark of the first line. It cannot be." Jian looked around. She saw faces she did not know well. Gray skin gone pale, obsidian eyes wide and shining with something close to tears. These were proud warriors. They had never bowed to anyone outside their own clan. Now they knelt before her. She turned back to Minsok. He still stood, but his body leaned forward slightly. His wounded hand hung at his side. Blood dripped steadily now, making a small dark pool at his feet. "What is happening?" Jian asked. Her voice sounded small in the quiet night. He lifted his bleeding palm and looked at the cut she had made. The wound was clean and straight. Then he looked at her sword. The runes still glowed, brighter than before. "You do not know," he said finally. His voice was low, almost a whisper. "You truly do not know what you carry." Jian shook her head. "This sword belonged to my great-grandmother. She said it was from old Earth, from a time before the stars opened to us. I thought the marks were just design, something pretty." Minsok gave a short, bitter laugh. "Pretty? No, those are not decorations. Those are the sigils of binding, the mark left by the ones who came before all of us." He took one step closer. The kneeling Valor did not move, but their eyes followed him. "Long before your people left your small blue world," Minsok continued, "before my people even learned to forge steel, there were the architects. They walked the galaxy when it was young. They planted seeds on 1,000 worlds, and on some of those worlds they left a gift, a spark, a key hidden in blood." He lifted his wounded hand higher. "When your blade cut me, my blood touched the runes. The circuit closed. The spark woke up." Jian looked down at the sword again. The light had spread now. Thin golden lines ran from the blade, up the hilt, and onto her fingers. They did not burn her skin. They felt like sunlight on a cold day. Comforting. "But why me?" she asked. "I'm just human. We're new here. Everyone says we're weak." Minsok's eyes met hers. For the first time, she saw no pride in them, only truth. That is what they made you believe. The architects hid their strongest work. They buried it deep. They made sure no one would look twice at your kind. You were never meant to rise too soon. But the time has come. A soft hum started. It came from every Valor blade on the ground. The weapons answered the glow of Ji-Yon's sword. Their own faint runes flickered once, then went dark again, as if bowing. Hyunwoo spoke from his knees. His voice carried across the circle. The legends say the awakened would return. One from the hidden line. One whose blood would call the old power back. We guarded the knowledge. We waited. We never thought. He stopped. Tears ran down his gray cheeks. We never thought the awakened would be human. Ji-Yeon felt the warmth in her chest grow stronger. Images flashed in her mind, not memories of her own life, but something older. Vast ships of white stone floating between stars. Tall figures in flowing robes placing seeds on empty worlds. A voice, not words, but feeling, saying, "Endure, adapt, wait, when the moment comes, rise." She blinked hard. The visions faded, but the feeling stayed. Min-Sok lowered his hand. Blood still dripped, but slower now. He looked at her with new eyes. Not as an opponent, but as something greater. "The duel is over," he said quietly. "Not because I yield, but because there is nothing left to prove." He turned to the kneeling clan. "Rise," he told them, "but keep your heads low. Honor the awakened." Slowly, the Valor stood, not straight and proud like before. They kept their shoulders bent, their eyes down. Seojin wiped her face. Taemin picked up his sword, but held it across his chest like a shield. Ji-Yeon still held her glowing blade. She did not know what to do next. The night air felt thick. The two moons watched from above, silent. Min-Sek stepped closer. He went down on one knee, not like the others, but slow and careful. He offered his wounded palm again, this time open and up, not in challenge, but in offering. "My blood woke your power," he said. "By the old code, that makes me yours. My blade is yours. My life is yours." Until the stars burn out. Ji-Yeon stared at him. She had come here to talk about land borders, to make peace. Now a proud alien warrior knelt before her, and his entire clan watched in silence. She did not know what to say, so she did the only thing that felt right. She lowered her sword. The runes dimmed a little, but did not go out. She reached out with her free hand and touched his offered palm, gently, over the cut she had made. "Then we start again," she said. "Not as enemies, not as equals, but as something new." Min-Sek bowed his head lower. The crimson plains stayed quiet. The dust settled. The moons climbed higher. And in that moment, on a world far from Earth, a single human woman stood at the center of a change no one had seen coming. Ji-Yeon stood in the middle of the crimson plain. The golden light from her sword had dimmed a little, but the runes still glowed softly. They looked like living lines drawn in light. She could feel them breathing against her skin. Not painful, just there, constant. Min-Suk stayed on one knee before her. His wounded palm rested on his thigh now. The bleeding had slowed to a thin trickle. He kept his head bowed. Around them, the Valor clan remained standing but silent. No one spoke, no one moved without reason. Their eyes stayed on Ji-Yeon, watching, waiting. Hyunwoo broke the quiet first. He stepped forward slowly. His old legs shook a little, but his voice stayed strong. "May I approach, awakened one?" Ji-Yeon blinked. "Awakened one." The words felt strange. She nodded once. Hyunwoo came closer. He stopped a respectful distance away. He reached into his robe and pulled out a small cloth bundle. He unwrapped it carefully. Inside lay an old metal plate, thin, black, etched with the same kind of runes that now shone on her sword. "Look," he said, "this has been kept in our deepest vault for more than 3,000 cycles. We were told never to speak of it unless the signs appeared." He held the plate up so the moonlight caught the etchings. The symbols matched hers exactly. Same sharp angles, same half circles, same pattern. Jian leaned in. "What does it mean?" Hyun-woo traced one rune with a gray finger. "These are the words of binding. The architects wrote them. They said, one bloodline will carry the key. When the key wakes, the guardians will know. They will kneel, they will serve, for the keystone must rise again." Jian felt cold air on her neck, even though the night was warm. "Keystone?" Min-suk spoke without lifting his head. "You, Jian. Your people were never weak by chance. The architects made you that way. They hid your strength. They locked it behind time and forgetting. You were built to be the last piece, the one that holds everything together when the galaxy needs it most." Jian looked at her sword again. The runes pulsed once, softly, as if agreeing. "But why hide it?" she asked. "If we were so important, why make us look small?" Hyun-woo answered, "Because power like yours draws enemies. The architects knew that. They saw wars that burned whole sectors. They decided the strongest must sleep until the right moment. Your kind was scattered across one small world, forgotten, safe, until now." Seo-jin stepped forward. Her face was still wet from earlier tears. She spoke quietly. "We have stories too, old songs. They say the guardians, the ones who remember, will feel it in their bones when the key wakes. Pain, light, knees that will not hold. That is what happened tonight." Taemin, the tall guard, added, "Our blades answered. Every warrior here felt the pull, like strings tied to our hearts. We could not stand against it." Jian looked around the circle. Gray faces stared back. Not with anger, not with hate, with something close to hope. Some looked afraid, others looked relieved. She turned to Min-suk. "And you? What do you feel?" He finally raised his eyes. "The cut you gave me. But more than that, I feel right, like a door opened inside me. The old oaths we swore long ago, they are alive again. They point to you." He stood up slowly, not tall and proud like before, humble. He held out his wounded palm once more. The cut had started to close already, faster than normal. A thin golden line traced the edges of the wound, like the runes were healing him. Jian reached out. She touched the cut gently. The moment her fingers met his blood, another flash came. She saw stars being born, huge clouds of gas turning into fire. Tall figures, the architects, walking among young worlds. They touched soil. They whispered to seeds. On one blue planet, they knelt longer. They drew runes in the dirt with light. They spoke to a small group of early humans. "You will wait. You will endure. When the others forget, you will remember. When the galaxy breaks, you will mend." The vision ended. Jian pulled her hand back. Her breathing came fast. "I saw them," she whispered. "The architects. They chose us." Min-suk nodded. "Your blood answered mine. That is why the runes woke. That is why we kneel." Hyun-woo spoke again. "The old texts say more. The awakened will not be alone. Others of your line sleep across the stars. When one wakes, the rest begin to stir. Old blades will glow. Old scars will burn. Your people will feel it soon." Jian looked up at the two moons. They seemed closer now, brighter. "What happens next?" Min-suk answered. "The galaxy will hear of this night. Word travels fast among the clans. Some will fear you. Some will try to use you. Some will fight to stop you. But we," he gestured to the kneeling warriors around them, "we stand with you. By blood, by oath, by the old code. Seojin stepped closer. We are yours to command. If you say go to war, we go. If you say seek peace, we seek it. But we cannot go back to what we were. The moment has passed. Jian felt the weight of it all. She had come as an envoy, a simple human trying to solve a small border problem. Now she stood as something ancient, something dangerous, something needed. She looked at her sword. The runes had settled into a steady, soft glow. No longer flashing, just there, waiting. I don't know what to do yet, she admitted. This is too big, too much. Hyunwoo smiled for the first time, a small, tired smile. That is how it begins. The awakened never knows at first. They learn, they grow, and the galaxy changes around them. Minsok spoke softly. You are not alone anymore. We remember what others forgot. We will teach you the old ways. We will guard you while you remember who you are. Jian took a deep breath. The red dust smelled sharp and dry. The night wind moved her hair. She felt small and huge at the same time. Then we start slow, she said. First, we talk. No more duels tonight. No more blood. We go back to your camp. We sit. We share what we know. The clan murmured agreement. Some bowed deeper. Others touched their blades to their chests in respect. Minsok wrapped the cloth around his palm. The golden line in the cut glowed brighter for a second, then faded. As you command. They began to walk. The crowd parted. Jian walked in the front. Minsok at her right side. Hyunwoo at her left. The others followed in quiet rows. Behind them, the crimson plain stayed empty. And somewhere far away, on distant worlds, faint runes on old human blades began to flicker for the first time in thousands of years. The walk back to the Valor camp took almost an hour. The crimson plain stayed quiet under the two moons. Only the soft crunch of boots on dry dust broke the silence. Ji-yeon walked in front. Min-seok stayed close on her right. Hyunwoo walked on her left. Behind them came the rest of the clan in two long lines. No one spoke much. Everyone felt the weight of what had happened. The camp sat at the edge of a low ridge. Round tents made of dark fabric stood in neat rows. Small fires burned in the center. The flames gave off blue light instead of orange. Valor preferred cool flames that did not waste heat. Guards at the edges lowered their heads as the group arrived. They had heard nothing yet, but they saw the change in how their clan moved. Ji-yeon stopped at the biggest tent. It belonged to the elder. Two tall poles held the entrance open. Inside, soft lights glowed from hanging orbs. A low table stood in the middle. Cushions lay around it. Hyunwoo gestured inside. Please enter, awakened one. We will speak here. Ji-yeon stepped in first. The air smelled of dry herbs and metal polish. She sat on a cushion near the table. Min-seok took the place to her right. Hyunwoo sat across from her. Sejin and Taemin entered last and stood near the door. They kept their swords sheathed, but hands ready. Ji-yeon set her sword on the table. The runes still glowed softly. Not bright anymore, just steady. Like a lamp that never needed fuel. Hyunwoo spoke first. We must understand what wakes in you now. The surge you felt on the plain, it will grow. The architects left gifts in your blood. Strength, speed, memory, vision. But they come slowly at first. Like a river finding its path after a long dry season. Ji-yeon nodded. I saw things, not my memories, older ones, ships, worlds being made, people like the architects talking to early humans. That is the first gift, the line memory. It opens when the runes wake. You will see more, pieces of the past, warnings, lessons, they will help you. Ji-yeon touched the blade. And this sword? Why did it wait so long? Hyunwoo answered. The architects made few such blades. They chose carriers carefully. Your family line carried this one through generations. It slept because the time was not right. Your blood and Minsuk's blood together made the spark. Now it will not sleep again. A quiet knock came at the tent pole. A young Valor named Yoon-ji entered. She carried a small bowl of water and clean cloths. She knelt near Minsuk. "May I tend the wound?" she asked softly. Minsuk held out his palm. Yoon-ji cleaned the cut carefully. As the cloth touched the skin, the thin golden line in the wound flared brighter for a second. Then it settled. The cut looked almost healed already. Only a faint silver scar remained. Yoon-ji stared. "It heals too fast." Hyun-woo smiled a little. "The bond has begun." His blood touched the runes. Now her power flows back to him. He will heal quicker, feel stronger, live longer, if she allows it. Ji-yeon looked at Minsuk. "I did not mean to change you." Minsuk met her eyes. "You did not change me. You reminded me. I swore an oath tonight. My life for yours. That is no small thing, but it feels right." Ji-yeon felt warmth again, not just from the sword, from inside, like something old waking up in her chest. She closed her eyes for a moment. Another flash came. She saw a dark room on a far world. A human woman, tall, with her same black hair, held the same sword. Runes glowed then too. Around her stood tall gray figures like the Valor. They knelt. The woman spoke words Ji-yeon could not hear clearly, but she felt them. Protect, guide, wait for the next. The vision faded. Ji-yeon opened her eyes. Her breathing was steady. "I saw another like me," she said. "Long ago. She had this sword. Your people knelt to her too." Hyun-woo nodded slowly. "The cycle repeats, not often, but when it does, the Guardians remember. We were made to serve the Keystone. We forgot why over time. We thought we were just proud warriors. Now we know again." Sejin spoke up. "What do we do now? Word will reach other clans soon. Some will come to test her. Some will come to take her." Ji-yeon looked at each face in the tent. "I do not want war. I came here for peace. The land dispute, we still need to solve it." Minsuk gave a small smile. "The land is nothing now. The galaxy will change because of you. Borders mean little when the old power returns." Ji-yeon shook her head. "Borders matter to people who live on them. Humans have families there. Valor have history there. We fix that first. Then we think bigger." Hyun-woo bowed his head. "Wise words. We will send word to the Concord. A new agreement. Shared land. No more duels over it." Ji-yeon felt the runes pulse once. Soft agreement. Then the surge came stronger. Her vision blurred. Heat rushed through her arms. The runes on the sword flared bright again. Golden lines spread from the blade to her hands. Up her wrists. Along her forearms. Patterns formed on her skin. Same sharp angles. Same half circles. They did not hurt. They felt like cool water on a hot day. Everyone in the tent froze. Ji-yeon stood up slowly. Her lines glowed brighter. She lifted her arms. The patterns moved like slow rivers under her skin. Minsuk stood too. His own scar on his palm glowed in answer. The same pattern appeared on his hand, faint but clear. Hyun-woo whispered, "The mark spreads. The bond is sealed." Ji-yeon felt strong, not just in body, in mind. Thoughts came clear and fast. She saw paths, possible futures. One led to war, one to hiding, one to something new. Unity, growth, humans and old guardians together. She lowered her arms. The glow faded but did not disappear. The marks stayed on her skin, faint now, like silver tattoos. "I feel it," she said. "Everything, the waiting, the purpose. We were never supposed to stay small. We were supposed to wake up." Minsuk stepped closer. "Then lead us. We follow." Ji-yeon looked at him, then at the others. "Not lead like a ruler. Lead like a bridge. between old and new, between humans and those who remember. Hyunwoo rose. We accept. The clan is yours. Our blades, our ships, our knowledge. Jian picked up her sword. The runes settled into a calm glow. Then tomorrow, we talk to Earth. We tell them what happened. No secrets. They need to know their own history. Minsek nodded. And we will stand with you. No one will touch you while we breathe. Jian walked to the tent entrance. She looked out at the camp. Fires burned blue. Stars filled the sky. Somewhere out there, other humans carried old blades. Other runes waited to wake. She turned back to the others. Rest tonight. Tomorrow we begin. The clan bowed as one. Jian stepped outside. The night air felt fresh. She lifted her marked arms to the moons. The silver lines caught the light. Inside her, the old power stirred more. Not angry, not wild, patient, ready. The awakened had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same. Morning came fast on Karvas. The two suns rose together, turning the crimson plains bright gold. The camp woke early. Valor moved with purpose, packing gear, checking blades, lighting small blue fires for quick meals. No one rushed. Everything felt calm and certain. Jian stood outside the elder's tent. She had not slept much. The marks on her arms still glowed faintly under her sleeves. She wore the same gray uniform as before, but now it felt different, lighter, stronger. Her sword hung at her side. The runes stayed quiet, but ready. Minsok approached first. His palm scar showed silver in the sunlight. He carried a small metal box. He opened it. Inside lay a thin chain made of dark silver. A small rune hung from it, simple, matching the ones on her blade. This is for you, he said, a guardian's token. Wear it, and any Valor will know you are the awakened. They will protect you without question. Jian took the chain. It felt cool against her skin. She put it around her neck. The small rune touched her chest and warmed at once. Thank you, she said. Minsok bowed slightly. We leave soon. A ship waits at the landing field. It will take you to the nearest Concord station. From there, you can speak to Earth. Jian looked across the camp. Warriors gathered in small groups. Some sharpened blades. Others spoke in low voices. All glanced her way with respect. Hyunwoo joined them. He carried an old scroll, thin paper rolled tight. This is a copy of the binding oath, he said. The words our clan spoke last night. Keep it. Read it when you doubt. It will remind you what we swore. Jian took the scroll. She unrolled it part way. The words were in an old script, but she understood them somehow. The Lyme memory helped. She read aloud softly. By blood given, by light received, we guard the keystone. We stand until the stars fade. Those words have not been spoken in thousands of years, until last night. A young messenger ran up. He bowed low. Elder, awakened one, a signal from orbit, Earth ships approach. They come for the envoy. Jian felt a small twist in her stomach. Not fear, just the weight of what she had to say. Then we meet them, she said. The landing field sat a short walk away, a wide, flat circle of hard-packed dust. 3 sleek Concorde shuttles already waited. Their silver hulls shone in the sun. Human pilots stood outside, looking nervous. They had expected a simple pickup, not this. Jian walked forward with Minsek and Hyunwoo at her sides. Behind them came 20 Valor warriors in full armor. Their steps matched perfectly. The lead pilot stepped up. A woman named Captain Kim Soo-min. She saluted sharply. Envoy Jian, we received your signal. Is everything all right? The Valor clan. Everything is changed, Captain, but not bad. Tell the others to stand easy. Soo-min looked at the glowing marks on Jian's arms. Her eyes widened. Then she saw the chain, the rune. She swallowed hard. Yes, ma'am. Ji-Yan turned to Min-Sok. Come with me, you and Hyun-Woo. The rest stay here, guard the camp. Min-Sok nodded. As you wish. They boarded the main shuttle. Inside, the air felt cool and clean. Screens showed the planet below. Ji-Yan sat in the command chair. Min-Sok and Hyun-Woo stood behind her. Su-Min took the co-pilot seat. Set course for the relay station, Ji-Yan said. I need a secure line to Earth Command. The shuttle lifted smoothly. The crimson planes fell away. Soon the sky turned black. Stars appeared. Ji-Yan stared out the window. She felt the old power move inside her again. Not a surge this time. A steady hum. Like a heart beating in time with the ship. The relay station appeared, a small ring of metal floating in orbit. Lights blinked along its edge. They docked without trouble. Inside the station, a quiet room waited. One large screen. A chair. Ji-Yan sat. Min-Sok and Hyun-Woo stood to the sides. The screen lit up. A face appeared. General Park Ji-Hoon from Earth Command. Gray hair. Sharp eyes. He looked tired. Envoy Ji-Yan, report. Ji-Yan took a slow breath. The duel happened. I won. But something else happened too. Something big. She told them everything. The runes, the kneeling, the visions, the architects, the hidden bloodline. She showed her arms. The marks glowed softly on the screen. General Park listened without speaking. When she finished, he stayed quiet for a long time. Is this confirmed? He asked finally. Ji-Yan lifted her sword. The runes flared bright. Even through the screen, they shone clear. Park nodded slowly. We have reports already, from other colonies. Old family blades are glowing. People feel strange. Memories they never had. It started last night. Your time. Ji-Yan felt relief. Then it's real, not just me. Park leaned forward. What do you need? Ji-Yan looked at Min-Sok, then Hyun-Woo. I need time. I need to learn. The Valor will teach me. They remember the old ways. And I need Earth to listen. No fear. No hiding. We face this together. Park gave a small smile. You have it. Come home. Bring your guardians. We will meet you at New Seoul Station. The council waits. The screen went dark. Ji-Yan stood. We go to Earth. Min-Sok placed a hand on his chest. We follow. The shuttle left the relay. It turned toward the jump point. Stars stretched into lines as the ship entered faster than light travel. Ji-Yan stood at the observation window. Min-Sok joined her. What do you feel now? He asked. Ji-Yan touched the chain at her neck. I feel ready. Not sure, not strong in every way, but ready. The waiting is over. Min-Sok looked out at the blurred stars. The galaxy will change. Some will fight it. Some will join it. Ji-Yan nodded. And we will meet them. Not with blades first. With truth. Hours passed. The ship dropped out of jump near Seoul. Earth grew larger in the view. Blue and green. Home. New Seoul Station orbited high above. A huge wheel of lights and metal. Shuttles came and went. Flags of the Concorde waved in the solar wind. Their ship docked. The door opened. A line of honor guards waited, human soldiers in crisp uniforms. They saluted as Ji-Yan stepped out. General Park stood at the front. Behind him, council members, scientists, leaders, all eyes on her. Ji-Yan walked forward. Min-Sok and Hyun-Woo followed. The Valor bowed their heads. Park stepped up. Welcome home, awakened one. Ji-Yan smiled. Small but real. Just Ji-Yan, for now. They walked together down the long corridor. People watched from every side. Whispers spread. Some pointed at her arms. Some stared at the tall gray warriors behind her. In a quiet side room, Ji-Yan stopped. She turned to Min-Sek. Your scar glows, she said. He looked down. The silver line pulsed softly. Yours does too. She lifted her hand. Their palms touched, scar to marks. Golden light flared between them. Brief, warm. The room went quiet. Jian spoke to the others. This is the beginning, not the end. We learn together. Humans, Valor, anyone who remembers. We rise, not to rule, to protect, to mend what was broken long ago. General Park nodded. Then we start. Jian looked out a wide window. Earth turned slowly below. Oceans, continents, cities full of people who did not yet know. Somewhere on that world, old swords began to hum. Faint runes woke in attics and museums. Bloodlines stirred. The keystone had returned. And humanity, quiet, patient, enduring, stepped into its place at last. The stars waited.